Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Man United Mastermind. How you doing? Are you watching the Champions League? Let me know in the chat. Our guest has just joined. Mate, how are you? It's so good to have you on.
Thank you. It's so good to be on, man. I appreciate it, as always.
Mate, it's been a long time since you were on the Attacking Football podcast. I understand that you are literally, for those who don't know, Ollie is the premier football Twitter lawyer, right? He is the go-to guy when we're talking about the legal aspects of football. And he is now going to take on the Man United Mastermind Challenge and see if his lawyer knowledge, his knowledge of the law, matches up with his football knowledge, or his Man United specifically. Are you excited for this?
Yes, I am, actually. And funny enough, so today I've got the football law horn book in the background, and at my old office, somehow it got lost in translation. I had 2 Manchester United trivia books in my office that were gifts from my former paralegal. So hopefully...
Have you been boning up on your knowledge?
I lost the books when I moved across the country a couple of years ago. And somehow books got lost during that. So, unfortunately not.
Is that a White Claw?
No, 6 months sober in 15 days, actually.
Congratulations,
Celsius.
my friend. Okay, so
Thank you.
cool. For those of you in the chat, I want you guys to play along. For those of you who've never seen the show before, this is Man United Mastermind. I'm going to give you a rundown of the rules and how we play. Ollie, I know you've seen a couple of episodes, so you should have a good idea. But for those of you who don't, Man United Mastermind is 2 rounds. So 1 2-minute round of general knowledge, and then 1 2-minute round of a specialist subject. Now, Ollie, would you like to tell the people at home what your specialist subject is?
I had to go with my namesake, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
A managerial era, right?
Yeah, managerial era.
Really,
yes.
really bad questions for you. Okay, good. So they're both 2-minute rounds. We're going to add up the scores from each round, and that becomes the final total. You should be able to see the scoreboard as it stands at the moment. So on the top of the scoreboard, we've got Alice with 28 points. Incredible, by the way. And then we've got James from the Muppeteers on 14 points. To be fair to James, I don't think he realised that he could pass on questions that he didn't know the answer to. So he lost a lot of time trying to remember the answer to certain questions when he could just pass on and skip to the next one. So my one bit of advice to you, mate, if we come across a question and you go, oh God, I know this, just say pass and we'll move on to the next one. And we can potentially come back to it later, but you've only got 2 minutes around. Okay?
All right, let's go.
So yeah, we'll do our rounds, and then afterwards we're going to stick around. We're going to have a chat for maybe 10-15 minutes about the state of Manchester United as it stands at the moment, which will probably, I can see Scott in the chat, it's going to make him very, very happy because he's a Liverpool fan. So that'll be fun. Hi, Scott. This is the Attacking Football podcast. No invite is crazy. Yeah, Scott, Man United Mastermind, not Liverpool. We might do season 2 on Liverpool. Who knows? And I'll get you on as a guest, but you don't know a great deal, so it's going to be different. Right, Ollie. 2 minutes on the clock. Are you ready?
Ready to go.
Okay. I need to get my scoreboard because I need to keep track of how many you scored. And with James, I had to run around my office trying to find... sorry, Scott. My specialist subject is Man United versus Liverpool during the Jurgen Klopp era. How about no? Is that okay? Oh, actually, no, I don't mind that because Eric Ten Hag beat the shit out of you. So, you know.
Also, I apologize to Guillermo for not looking too much like Ollie.
So I don't know if you've met Guillermo. Guillermo is one of the writers for Attacking Football. His real name is Liam. He is a lovely, lovely guy, but he's a Spurs fan. So you know, we can't all be winners. Okay. Sorry for that, people at home. I needed a pen and paper to keep track of Ollie Scott. Okay. I did have a pen and paper on my desk, but we're having a garden renovation, right? And my wife comes into my office and takes the paper and pens from my office to sketch out the new thing she wants the builder to do this week.
It's all good. My wife comes in and takes my credit card out of my wallet to buy the new thing she wants.
Yeah, it's me who's paying for it too. So it is what it is. Right. Okay. I'm going to give you a countdown: 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to fire some questions at you. You ready?
Yep. Let's go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Who did Manchester United face in their first ever Premier League match in 1992?
Sheffield.
Correct. Which country does former United captain Nemanja Vidic come from?
Serbia.
Correct. Who scored the only goal in Manchester United's FA Cup final win over Liverpool in 1996?
Oh, pass.
Which Manchester United player famously kung fu'd a Crystal Palace fan in 1995?
The King, Cantona.
Correct. What year did Manchester United last win the Champions League?
2008.
Correct. Who was Manchester United's first £1 million signing?
I know our first $1 million player was George Best, but I'll pass on the 1 million signing.
Which club did Manchester United sign Van Nistelrooy from?
Oh, PSV Eindhoven.
Correct. In which season did Manchester United first compete in the European Cup?
58.
Close, 56. How many goals did George Best score in his most prolific Manchester United season?
Pass.
Who was the first player to win the Champions League with 2 different clubs, including Manchester United?
Pass.
Which Manchester United player scored 4 goals against Nottingham Forest in 1999?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Correct! Who was the
As a
first
substitute.
American player to play for Manchester United?
First South American?
Yep.
Pass.
Which former Manchester United player later became the manager of Real Madrid?
Pass.
How many goals did Cristiano score in his first stint at United?
First stint, let's say 89 is a guess.
Who is the first Manchester United player to win league titles under both Sir Alex Ferguson and Jose Mourinho?
First player to win league.
Only player.
Wouldn't have been Mata, not De Gea. Pass.
Oh, there we go.
Should have taken another guess at that one.
So we did.
Who was that last one?
Do you know what? I think that question might be wrong because it says Michael Carrick and it isn't. So Michael Carrick did not win a Premier League title under Jose Mourinho, but you didn't get it anyway. So let's run through them. Let's see. So the only goal in Man United's FA Cup win was Eric Cantona. First £1 million signing was Brian Robson.
Okay.
The season Man United was the first season to compete in the European Cup was 56-57. George Best scored 32 goals in his most prolific season. Gerard Piqué was the first to win the Champions League with 2 different clubs, including Manchester United. First South American was Juan Sebastian Veron.
Fuck, I should have gotten that one.
Then manager of Real Madrid, who was a Man United player, was Laurie Cunningham. Apparently, he was a interim coach at Real Madrid. Cristiano scored 118 goals in his first stint at Manchester United. So, yeah, 6 is a solid start. I have a funny feeling you will do a lot better in your specialist subject round.
I think so. Alice killed me. She got double what I did in the first round.
Yeah, honestly, Alice's ball knowledge is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we are now, before we move on to the second round, you've seen the list of people who are coming on the show. We've still to come, we've got Paddy, we've got Alex Turk, we've got Adam, your friend, our dear Australian friend, our friend, not your friend. We've got Dev FC.
Yep.
Who are you looking at to be making a real impact on the leaderboard?
I think Paddy's going to do well.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that I'm putting my bet there, actually. Because it feels like for kind of obscure knowledge, like for a trivia guy, I feel like Paddy's going to do well.
So Paddy viewed the first episode with James. He was in the chat live, and I think he got less than James in that.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But that being said, he does have strong Man United knowledge, mostly around Irish players, though, to be fair. Scott, did you get 4? That's incredible.
Damn.
That's not bad, you know. For a Liverpool fan, that's okay. Yeah, well done. Okay.
I feel like shit now. Thanks, Scott.
Are you ready for round 2?
Yep.
Okay, right. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. When was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer appointed caretaker manager of Man United?
2018 December.
Correct. Which club did Solskjaer manage before United?
Molde.
Correct. Who did Man United beat in Solskjaer's first game as caretaker manager?
Cardiff 5-1. Rashford scored the first goal.
Correct. Which legendary United manager did Solskjaer succeed?
Jose Mourinho.
Correct. What was the result of Ole's first Manchester derby as manager?
Oh, was it 2-1?
No. Which Premier League club ended Solskjaer's unbeaten domestic start?
Oh, shit.
You can pass.
Everton?
Arsenal. Who was Manchester United's top scorer in Ole's first full season?
Rashford.
Correct. Which team knocked United out of the FA Cup in 2020?
Chelsea.
Correct. Which formation did Ole most frequently use?
4-2-3-1.
Correct. What counter-attacking duo was pivotal in Ole's early success?
Rashford and Bruno, if you're talking his full seasons. But if you're talking interim, then Pogba and Rashford.
No. Rashford and Martial. Who typically played in the holding midfield role under Ole?
McFred.
Correct. Which defender did Ole play at right back?
Wan-Bissaka.
Correct. Who was Manchester United's regular penalty taker under Ole?
Bruno Fernandes, before that Rashford.
Correct. Which goalkeeper did Ole prefer?
De Gea, although Henderson was robbed because of COVID.
De Gea. Which midfielder became key in transitional play under Ole?
Pogba for interim, Bruno permanently.
Bruno, correct. Who often filled in at centre-back due to injuries in 2020 or 2021? You've got a choice of 2.
Often filled in. It's McTominay. It wasn't McTominay, but
I'll let you have a second to answer this one. Although your camera has gone off, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 second.
No worries.
Can you see me now?
There you go.
Okay. Apologies. And as for who it was, I already guessed McTominay. I know it's wrong, but who was it?
It was Victor Lindelof or Eric Bailly. They were the 2 options. It was.
I thought the question was out of position, center backs. My mistake.
No, it's cool. You got 13. 13.
Made up for it.
Yeah, that's really, really good. So it gives you a grand total of 19 points, putting you second on the leaderboard. 9 points behind Alice, which I think is actually decent.
I'll take it.
I would be very happy with that.
Yeah, as long as I don't end in the relegation zone for this, then I'm happy.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong there. But, I mean, the format of the show, I think we're going to have a top 8 who then progress into a quarterfinal, semi-final, and then we'll crown the ultimate Manchester United social media knowledge person, whatever that might be. Might have a crown made.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've just thought of that. Maybe we do that. I'll have a crown made and I'll ship it to whoever the overall series winner is, and they can have it until season 2. I like the sound of that. But
yeah,
okay,
I do too. That's
19
good.
points is where we finish. But that's not all we're doing tonight. I want to have a chat about United. You and I haven't caught up in a spell. What's going on?
I know.
Where's your mind at the moment? I know that I've been dipping into games here and there, but it's really tough to watch at the moment. I know that you've been doing the same.
Yeah, I mean, I still watch every match, obviously, but it's just hard. I mean, for me, the season was written off before it started. When we kept Ten Hag,
yeah,
the writing was on the wall. I mean, you saw the interview with Varane. The writing was on the wall for the players, let alone fans.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I feel for Amorim, just insofar as like the dude got his shit back. Come in with a deflated squad, and it's weird. It wasn't deflated in the way that like Jose leaves his squad deflated in a way where like you come in and by not being Jose, it's like, oh, okay, the temperature is raised a little in the room. Whereas here, it seemed like it was just like the confidence was gone.
Yeah.
Also, Scott just said that Villa are going sicko mode. So
yeah, they're 3-2 up. They come back from 2-0 down.
What the fuck? All right, I will take it.
Rashford. Now, Scott is not a Rashford fan, so I'd be keen to know. Normally, above my monitor is there. Above my monitor, I have a 50-inch screen. I normally have the game on there, but I have to read the questions, so I didn't want to be distracted. But Scott, can you just type in the chat about what the hell is going on with Rashford? Because I haven't seen an update on that. But somebody in the Attacking Football group chat has also just said, Rashford, that is filthy. So,
I'll take it.
I don't quite know what's going on here. Yeah, anyway. Let's talk about Amorim. So, I've seen a lot of social media talking about, especially after the last game, Amorim out. Now, you are not anywhere near as reactionary, but did we make a mistake bringing him in too soon?
I think there can be an argument regarding, too soon, was timing right, so on and so forth. Insofar as, he was on a tear at Sporting. We kind of pulled him away from that. They're still doing well, to be fair. And maybe it would have been best bring him in during summer. Maybe questions wouldn't be raised right now obviously they wouldn't be raised right now if we brought him in summer. Yeah. But in terms of the Wolves kind of coming for him, we know he's going to stick by, what he thinks is right. He doesn't want to kind of give into his, he's an ideologue, for lack of a better term. And normally I mean that kind of disparagingly when I talk about managers, but I think here it's a fair term. I think he would agree with the use of that term for himself.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And so the issue is you have somebody who's married to a system, married to a way they want to play, and they come in and you don't have the personnel for it. You don't have the training for it. You don't have the time to prepare for it. I think that's a really harsh position to be put in. At the same time, from the club's perspective, do you want a Ragnick 2.0 where someone comes in, kind of goes scorched earth? Ragnick, just from his press conferences, and we can say it's because he's Ragnick.
He does know that about him, yeah.
Yeah, he did kind of go scorched earth with some of what he said. And do you want that for half a season along with poor results? So I can understand the club saying, fuck it, let's just go get our man, bring him in now, give the players some time under him, let him see who he wants, who he doesn't want. At the same time, go ahead.
Do you think there is a chance that the board sat him down while he was still at Sporting and said, listen, we know we're giving you a poison chalice here. The media are going to be on you. The fans are going to be on you. But no matter what happens this season, you are going to be here next season. So do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to spend the season getting thumped 3-0 every week because you think it'll benefit us next season, then go for it.
It wouldn't surprise me if that were the case. And to be frank, the way he's behaving, it kind of seems like that's the case. He's acting like a man who knows he's going to be here for a while.
He doesn't appear to be under pressure, does he? The way he carries himself in his interviews, and he's very forthright. He's very honest.
Yep. And he's very he's very deliberate in what he says as well. I'm not sure if, every manager has an air about that where, if they're saying something, they're saying it for a reason. But I think in particular, the way he carries himself with regard to criticism of players, he sounds like a guy who's been told you can outlast anyone with whom you have issue here.
It's you know what, for me, the season was over, like you said, when Ten Hag was there on the opening day of the season. What I can't understand is if you were that unsure around your manager, so much so that you were actively interviewing others, why allow him access to the transfer window when there's a chance that you might be making this decision? Because I don't think it's fair to judge Ruben Amorim on this season. He needs a transfer window or two, maybe three. He's got a summer, a winter, and another summer transfer window, and then you can go, okay, his squad's kind of starting to take shape. And even then you look at it and go, okay, but only if he's given the players that he literally wants, because Ollie had a number of transfer windows, never got any of the players that he actually wanted, had to make do with second and third choices, and we're still judging him because he had multiple windows. So let me caveat that and say he needs 3 windows with the signing that he wants, right? And I'm talking he has 2 top targets for each position, and he gets one of those 2. Would you agree?
I think that's right. I think that it's been so hard to judge United managers over the years. Like you mentioned Ollie there. Ollie did get some of his top targets. He got Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, both of whom were, I think, his first choices for those positions. And also, coincidentally, they took us from the 8th leakiest defense in the league to the 2nd best that year. So I think you can get more
importantly.
Yep. And so I think it's completely fair to judge managers in those situations, because you're never going to get 100% of your top 2 targets, At the same time, as you say, he needs to be able to shape the squad in his own image, and I do think there can be a bit of a litmus test where it's almost like any kind of performance related job. Okay, we know halfway through our expected life cycle of this if someone's performing the way that we want them to perform. I think it's okay to take it piece by piece. And sometimes you do get those. I mean, think about Liverpool. Van Dijk was that key lock player when he signed for Klopp. He was the one where it clicked and everything was just, oh, this makes sense now, or this is the final piece. And there's a chance you'll have a manager with that, but you need to see that incremental improvement throughout. And I think if we see that, then I'm fine latching on for the long run. And no matter what, I'm going to back the guy as long as he doesn't pull a Ten Hag and, do and say some of the things.
It's not like there's a transfer window for fans, right? Where we can go, well, look, I've had enough. Let's jump on the Coventry bus this season. It just doesn't happen, right? But we're going to support the club no matter what happens. We could be bottom of the Championship or top of the Premier League. We will still support the club, albeit begrudgingly. What I want to know is, at what point do we start to look at the fact that Amorim has a lot of square pegs trying to go into round holes? We need those square pegs replacing with round holes. Do we trust the board? And the jury's still out, as much as I'm very grateful that we don't have an AI caricature as the owner of the club. The jury's still out. They've made some not great decisions and they've made some good decisions. Do we trust them to be able to get this done?
I will trust the board when they let the sporting structure make the decisions. Because at the end of the day, sometimes delegation is the best way to take responsibility. And that is the case we're currently in. Our sporting structure's in place now. They're getting their feet wet. I've liked the way that, from the contract side, some of the clauses that have come out have made a lot of sense. In terms of actually getting targets, there's a difference between I can put words on paper and a contract and make it sound good. It's literally what I do for a fucking living. But at the end of the day, when you actually get to the data analysis, the finding your targets, the executing on those targets, the working with the manager, the cohesion that has to go into a good sporting structure, that we haven't really gotten a good litmus test of yet. We've had one full window in the summer, and we got targets that we wanted. I mean, Euro was great business.
Oh, every club in the world wanted Euro, yeah.
Yeah, we beat Real Madrid to Euro. Speaking of which, Scott, how's Trent doing? But anyways, sorry, man. But that aside, so there are some good signs there. Like you say, jury's still out. I'm not going to judge them solely off of Euro in the same way that I'm not going to judge them solely off of, keeping Ten Hag around. And so we'll see if they're trustworthy. We'll see if Amorim is trustworthy in terms of carrying the mantle forward.
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's just a lot of questions. I think that's something that feeds into fan sentiment right now. United fans don't do well with uncertainty.
No, we don't.
No.
The typical reaction to uncertainty in the fan base is to pile on and attack anything that moves. So, that's...
Here, I've got my green screen behind me. I can start attacking people. Sorry, I was making fun of a certain someone.
Yeah. I thought you might know who that was, to be fair. Okay, cool. Well, look, last question. Prediction for next season. Where do you think we're going to be? Tough one,
United fans hate uncertainty. I'm going to say we'll be within touching distance of top 4 at Christmas. I don't know if we'll be in top 4. I think we'll be within 8 points of top 4 at Christmas.
8 points in the top 4 at Christmas. Okay.
And then from there, the reason I put Christmas is that's kind of when you can see where a team's actually going to end up. And there can be variance either side. We knew at Christmas of this year we weren't touching top 4, as an example.
Yeah.
From there, injuries, duration of the season, which competitions you're still engaged in, all that, way too many factors for me to make a guess.
Sending our best attackers on loan to other clubs where they're performing in the Champions League, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Details.
Okay. Well,
it hurts.
let's leave it there, mate. Firstly, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your support. And do you know what? Not just for coming on the show, but your support of other people's shows or other people's appearances on the show as well. You are... I cannot thank you enough for your friendship and for your support, genuinely.
Absolutely, man. And exact same to you as well. So thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. And listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you are here live, there is a button up in the top right-hand corner that says Join Community. It's green. Press that so you can watch all of the other episodes live as we record them as well. And we've got another incredible guest for you on Friday, straight from BBC Sport. So look out for that one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, Ollie.
Take care.